What if I told you that an ancient chant wasn't just a prayer, but a super precise tool for actually rewiring your brain? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the really surprising neuroscience behind the Gayatri Mantra. You know that feeling, right? That constant pressure, the racing thoughts, just that sense of being totally overwhelmed. We all feel it. And the source material for this explainer, well, it puts it pretty bluntly. In today's world, stress is pretty much the biggest disease we're facing. So that begs a pretty compelling question, doesn't it? What if the solution to our biggest modern problem isn't some new technology, but something ancient? Something that's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. Let's find out. Okay, so the sources we're looking at here suggest a really unique way of thinking about this. They argue that this isn't about religion in the way you might assume. No, it's about a specific, repeatable mechanism, almost like a scientific button. And I gotta say, I love this analogy. Instead of thinking of the mantra as, a plea to some deity, think of it more like a tool, a scientific button that's designed to trigger a very specific response right inside your own mind. It's a way for you to consciously shift your mental state. So, if it's a button, then how exactly does it work? Well, the answer, it turns out, is in the physics of sound and the biology of our own brains. Okay, so it all starts with sound. See, the rhythmic chanting produces these very specific vibrations. And according to our sources, these vibrations aren't random at all. Nope, they are precisely tuned to interact with and stimulate one particular really important region of your brain. And that key region? It's your prefrontal cortex. Now, the easiest way to think about this is like, it's the CEO of your brain. Seriously. It's the part that handles all the big executive functions, things like emotional regulation, impulse control, making rational decisions. And here's the thing, when you're stressed out, your CEO is basically offline. This practice is all about bringing that CEO back online. Now, this is a pretty fascinating claim, right? But what's interesting is it's not exactly a new one. In fact, scientific and philosophical texts have been digging into this connection for decades. So let's take a look at what they have to say. And what's really striking here is just how long these ideas have been in discussion. I mean, look at this. As far back as 1976, the journal Akhand Jyoti was talking about how this practice could rebuild neural pathways. That's basically strengthening the positive connections in your brain. Then you have other texts like Vang Sankhya 19, linking it to what we now call the relaxation response. And others point to a real, measurable shift in your brain's frequency. And this really illustrates that shift perfectly. See, most of our waking, stressed out day is spent in that beta wave state. That's your busy mind, the one that's always going. The whole goal of this practice is to move the brain out of that and into the alpha wave state, the calm, focused, relaxed mind. And get this isn't just a feeling. It's a real, measurable change in your brain's electrical activity. So here's the crucial part. It sets off a chain reaction. It starts with the simple act of rhythmic chanting. That then activates the prefrontal cortex. That activation leads to an increase in those calm alpha waves. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no. This mental shift actually triggers a physical one throughout your entire body. The first big biochemical effect, a drop in cortisol. Now, you've probably heard of cortisol. It's your body's #1 stress hormone. When it's high, you're stuck in that fight or flight mode. This practice is designed to actively and intentionally dial that way down. And as that cortisol goes down, something else starts to go up. Serotonin. We call this the feel-good chemical for a reason. It's absolutely crucial for your mood, your sense of well-being, and just happiness. So think about it. You're not just removing the stress. You're actively replacing it with a state of calm and well-being. It's a double whammy. So when you put all of these pieces together, right? The sound vibration, the brain activation, the shift in brain waves, and the change in your body chemistry, the whole perspective just changes completely. And you know what's maybe the most remarkable part of all this? How accessible it is. The source material suggests that to get these powerful neurological and biochemical effects, you don't need hours and hours of dedication. Nope, just a consistent daily practice of about 10 to 15 minutes is enough to start rewiring how you respond to stress. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. When you strip away the dogma and just look at it through a scientific lens, the practice reveals itself for what it is, a form of mental therapy, a practical, repeatable technique for managing our own internal state. Which, it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about.
In our constant search for the next big thing, for cutting-edge solutions, are we maybe overlooking these profound, scientifically grounded technologies that have actually been with us all along? What other buttons like this might be out there, just waiting for us to rediscover them?